Hello everyone and welcome back to another Trey's Let's Play Resonant Rise 3 Modified, Episode 5. And to begin today, I did take the dark steel out of the alloy smelter. I threw in some cobblestone into our sag mill, which gave us some sand and gravel, and I'm turning the sand into glass for a project we want to work on today. The first thing I want to show you is how you use the dark steel to make dark steel balls. You get 5 of them for every dark steel ingots you use. If you hold in shift, it will tell you that the change it makes to the output of the sag mill is the main item that it outputs is increased by 150%. The bonus output, which is the extra item, is 200% increase, and it actually reduces the power used by the sag mill by 30%, which is really nice. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to throw it up here in the sag mill. Right there's the slot it goes in, and we can start throwing our ores in there. For instance, if I throw a piece of lead in there, normally the output would be 2 dusts. Let's see what it gives us. It did give us 2 for that one, but there's a chance for it to be increased. What I'm going to do first, though, is take the lapis, the nether lapis that we mined last episode, 16 blocks right here, and this will give us an absolutely enormous amount of lapis, which we're going to need to add luck to our tools, and luck is basically fortune. So 1 ore gave us 24 lapis, and that's not even doubled. It's doubled, but it's not quadrupled. It does have a chance of giving us 48 all at once. Let's see if we can get it to do it. There it is, 48 all in one shot. So I'm going to this will give us an absolute astronomical amount of lapis. So I'm going to let that keep going. There's 2 stacks already, plus another quarter stack. So I'm going to let that keep making us some more lapis, and I'm going to come over to our table here, and I'm going to make a whole bunch of lapis blocks. And you know how before we came over to the tool forge and we threw a tool in there and we threw in the item that we wanted to increase? We used redstone before. You don't have to use the tool forge. You can actually use the crafting station. It might be a little bit faster. So I'm going to take my manual and pickaxe. I'm going to surround it with these lapis blocks. As you can see, it adds in underneath the haste that we put in last time, it adds in luck. 8 blocks of lapis is 72 lapis. You need 450 to completely max it out. So we're going to do the 72 twice first, and that gets us to Fortune 1 that you can see all the way down at the bottom. So I'm going to keep doing that until I have the full 450, and that will give us Fortune 3. I'm going to do the same thing with a sword, because that will give us the looting enchantment, which is really nice for when you're trying to collect items such as ender pearls. Ender pearls are super important in this mod pack. You're going to need them for almost every mod, but especially Ender IO, they're really important. So I'm going to get working on that, and we'll be right back. Alright, so you can see I got my sword up to looting 1 and my manual and pickaxe up to fortune 3. I do need some more lapis to keep getting the sword going, but for now we're going to work on something else. I want to add the ability for my tools to be charged with RF power rather than using durability. And the way you do that is you add certain items to the tools, just like the other upgrades. But for these, we're going to need a thermal expansion item. Depending on the durability, the total durability of the item, the larger the buffer of power you can put on these by using different items. By using a manual, I think you can get to the point where you can use a hardened energy cell, which lets them store quite a bit of power. So that's what I'm going to shoot for right now. In order to make a hardened energy cell, you do need an alloy that we're going to make out of gold and silver, which is called electrum. You're going to need a little bit more redstone, so I'll just grab a bunch here. In order to make a hardened energy cell, you first need to make a leadstone energy cell, which is why I was making the lead. You take the glass like that, and that will make you a leadstone energy cell frame. If you take that and you add a redstone conductance coil to it, which is made with an electrum and 2 redstone, you'll get that. And then you need 3 copper surrounding that, and that will make you a leadstone energy cell. Thermal expansion, as you can probably tell by now, uses a tiered system in the newer versions, which basically goes from the lowest tier and then increases with Invar, just like we did that portable tank that we had before. After Invar, it goes to electrum and hardened glass, and then after that it goes to Enderium. They also added in which is between the two. But we're going to take this hardened energy cell. We are going to walk it over to our tool forge right here. We're going to take our manual and pickaxe. We're going to throw the hardened energy cell right there, and you can see it now says it has 0 out of 2 million RF storable inside of it. So we're going to take that out. Now that 2 million storage is actually the same size as our basic capacitor bank, which we can actually charge it in. So we'll throw it in here. That will actually completely drain out our capacitor bank. So we're going to need to kick our dynamos back on here. So we're starting to create power again, and it will drain faster than we are generating power because it's inputting 2000 RF per tick, whereas we're only bringing in 160 from these 2 dynamos. But it was almost full, so that should be able to fill up. In the meantime, we're going to make another energy cell by getting another redstone block. This. Do the same thing we did before. Our lead. That'll make that. There is another way to do this. You can actually do the invar on the energy cell frame like that, and that will make it a hardened energy cell frame. And then from there, the recipe is basically the same as it was before. Take our redstone conductance coil, put the hardened energy cell frame in the middle, take our 3 copper, and that will go straight to a hardened energy cell. Again, you can add the upgrades right here in the crafting station. You don't have to go over to the tool forge. So we're going to give this to our cobalt hammer, and it'll put a nice little drill picture on the upper left hand corner of the hammer on the end of the head, which is pretty cool. And again, it'll hold 2 million RF. So we'll take that out. That was the last upgrade for our hammer. There are ways to add more upgrades to your tools, but it's going to take diamonds and gold, and you can do one with another star. So we're not quite at that point yet. But now that I do have a pickaxe with Fortune 3 on it, I'm going to go do a bit of mining. See, there were some diamonds down there that I completely skipped because I wanted to wait till I had Fortune 3, which I do now. So I can go down and get diamonds, and I can get a much larger amount of redstone and other items like that. So I'm going to go down and do some mining for a little while, just to get some resources to get us going. As you can see, I did expand this area. This is from one end to the other is 33 blocks across, and that is the size that I would like to make our underground laboratory. It is going to be centered on the center of our mining shaft, and it's going to be completely cleared out all the way to bedrock. So I'm going to get started on that as well, because I have to push it out 33 blocks this way. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and charge up these tools, do some mining, and I'll be back in just a bit. Alright guys, so about an hour later, this is where I'm at right now. This is the shape that the laboratory is going to be. It's going to go straight down. I did make a chisel, which is just an iron ingot and a stick. And I made Tyrian blocks, which are a piece of iron. It's an iron ingot surrounded by smooth stone. And then I chiseled it into this form, which I think looks kind of neat. Might not go with that in the final version, but for now I think that's what I'm going to go with. It looks pretty cool. So this is the basic layout. This ladder is going to go away, and it's going to be replaced with elevators from extra utilities or open blocks. I forget. I always get those two mods confused, but it's one of those. Let's take a look at it. It is from open blocks. So we are going to use those. We need wool and ender pearls to make those, which we're short on both of right now. So now that I have the basic layout done, I'm going to go down the mine. I'm going to get a whole bunch of iron so we can make a lot of those Tyrian blocks. I'm going to get some redstone. I'm going to get some diamonds because I want to get a quarry going. I did use up all my lava again, filling up my tools to make sure I could dig out this whole room. I do have a little bit left. I pulverized a whole bunch of iron in the sag mill. You can see I did get extra outputs of tin and ferrous, as well as some cobblestone. So I'm going to smelt these up. And I'll let that run while I head down into the mine and get some materials. Be right back. Alright guys, I'm back up out of the mine because I was starting to have a hunger issue. So I ran over to our old friend the apple tree over there and grabbed a bunch of apples and filled up my hunger. I'm going to go take a look at our wheat farm, and we have a creeper. Creeper down. I'm going to go ahead and see if this other creeper is on our level. Apparently not. I have no idea where that creeper is. But he's on the mini map, so he's got to be around here somewhere. Anyway, we're going to go back over to the wheat farm, which apparently I jumped on at some point. And we're going to grab our wheat. Ah, something destroyed our plants. So we're going to have to regrow those. But we did luckily get the industrial hemp from it. Like I said, you can use this to make string, and then you can use the string to make wool. But we're just going to grab this wheat. Real quickly going to grab out our hoe and fix up some of these plots. And replant some of these seeds. That should be enough for now. Another trick that you can do to help with the food problem is wheat can actually be run through the sag mill, and that will give you even more wheat or even more flour than just putting it in your inventory. So I'm going to do that real quick. I did pulverize up a bunch more iron. I'm going to throw the wheat in. There, gives us 2 flour per wheat and sometimes some extra seeds. Oh, sometimes it gives 4. I wonder if that's from the dark steel balls. Could be. So I'm going to take this flour, I'm going to throw it in here. And that will bake us bread. You can also run the bread through a furnace a second time to get toast, which recovers even more health, so I'm going to end up doing that too. I did go mining for a while. I found a whole bunch of yellorite, a little bit of gold. Still got some nether gold that I need to pulverize, so I'm going to go ahead and pulverize this stuff that I found. I did also find 13 diamonds. That's mostly because of the fact that I have fortune on my pick. But I'm going to also try to craft up a quarry. Now, quarries use a lot of power. So these 2 little dynamos aren't really going to cut it, which means it's time to get into some big reactors here pretty soon. It's probably just going to be a small temporary one at first just to get the quarry going. So let me get things together and we'll see if we can go ahead and get one of those started. What I'm going to need for that is some steel, which, if I am not mistaken, is or dictionaried with refined iron from Industrial Craft 2, which is what I was talking about before. It makes it a little bit easier. We're going to see what happens when we throw some iron in this alloy smelter. Oh, apparently that doesn't work. Could have sworn it did. What happens if we throw it in alloy mode? Nothing. So maybe I was mistaken. Maybe you have to use a vanilla furnace for that to work. So let me pull. Oh, hey, I have some bread in here too. Let me throw a piece of iron in here and see what happens when we throw some sticks in. And we'll just throw some coal in. Nope, that doesn't work either. So that recipe must be disabled now. So I'm going to go ahead and see what I have to do to get some steel going so we can get a big reactor. And I'll be right back. Alright guys, so it looks like the easiest way to make steel for us, or refined iron, is actually going to be the induction smelter from thermal expansion. So we're going to go ahead and make one of those. Just like any other machine from thermal expansion, you're going to need a machine frame first, which is a tin gear. You're going to need some glass, which I should have a whole bunch of laying around right here. You're going to need a bucket, which we already have. You're going to need a redstone reception coil, just one. Some in-bar gears. And that'll get us our induction smelter, which will nicely fit in the hole right here that we made. I'm going to turn off all the outputs and inputs. It's going to quickly fill up with power. And we're going to need some coal dust. So let's macerate up some of that. Take a coal dust, throw it in here with a piece of iron. Maybe it has to be iron dust. No, that's not working either. Maybe it has to be multiple coal dusts. Yep. Looks like you're going to have more than one coal dust to do it this way. Two. So 2 coal dust and 1 iron makes a refined iron. So we're going to make 3 more of those. We're also going to need some graphite, and graphite is made with charcoal that is resmelted. So I'm running out of room here in my inventory again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up top. I'm going to cut down a big tree and I'm going to start smelting up some graphite. We're going to take our steel out of here, which apparently we're out of charcoal for, or we're out of coal dust for already. Here's a bunch more. Oh man, really need some inventory space. I'm going to throw that in there. And we're going to get into making a small big reactor. So our first thing we're going to need to make are reactor casings. That's 4 graphite, yellorium, and 4 steel will make us 4 of the casings. And we're going to need those casings to make every other part of a big reactor. The reactor controller, the reactor power tap, the reactor access port. Everything's going to require these reactor casings. So let me make a whole bunch of refined iron and get some wood to make some charcoal. And I will be right back. Alright guys, I want to show you real quick. I'm making a new tool. It's called a dolly, and it's from Java, which is just a better barrel mod. And this item is really nice because it allows you to take inventories that have items in them and move them around. It was specifically designed for the barrels that are part of the mod, so I could take this dirt barrel and I could stick it over here if I don't want it to float in the air anymore. But the thing that's really nice about them is they also work for chests, including the chests from the iron chest mod, which means I can take this chest and I can move it over here, or I can move it back. But the reason I made one is because I am moving the igneous extruder and the aqueous accumulator, which means I want to move my smooth stone barrel down. I did chop down a whole bunch of trees. You can see in my inventory I've got a lot of wood, and it's a little clearer out here, so hopefully we'll get fewer mob spawns also from that. So I'm going to grab this barrel. I need to get some dirt. I don't have any dirt on me. Anyway, I'm going to take this barrel. You can see it does make you move slower when you're carrying this. Let's just try to balance it a little bit. So I'll take this and put it on the left side of the igneous extruder, just like it was upstairs. And it'll continue to act just the way it did before. So the reason I even started messing with that is because I need more obsidian, because I ran out of dark steel balls. So I am going to use this, and I'm going to make 10 obsidian. This can only hold 4 at a time, just as always. I'm going to make 10 obsidian. I'm going to stick that obsidian in the alloy smelter along with this 10 iron and this 10 pulverized coal, and that will make me 10 dark steel. That'll make me 2 sets of dark steel balls this time, so it should last a little longer. I'm also completely out of power, so after I'm done making obsidian, I'll bring that tank up here and get our dynamos going again. But in the meantime, I am going to continue to prepare to make a big reactor. I also did pulverize a whole bunch of yellorium. I ended up throwing it in the chest because my inventory was kind of full again, but out of 1 stack of yellorium, I got 3 of yellorite. I got 3 stacks of yellorium dust, and I can take those and I can throw them in here, and it'll make them into yellorium ingots. So while we wait for this obsidian to create, I will cut the video and be back with you in just a moment. I'm also going to make a double layer capacitor. This is an upgrade for Ender IO machines. Increases the speed of the machine, and it also makes it store more energy. It also makes it use more energy, but they're really nice to have, especially when you start making alloys. So it's taking a long time to make these dark steel ingots. So I'm going to take this double layer capacitor, I'm going to put it in the upgrade slot of my alloy smelter, and then I'm going to continue making the dark steel that I was making. So I'll throw those back in. You'll see that the maximum energy that this stores is now 200,000, and it will create alloys a little faster. There's also another upgrade, an octadic capacitor, that we'll get to eventually, but we don't have the greatest energy source right now, so this is the highest I'm going to want to go right now. We're out of lava almost again. Yep, now we're out of lava, so I'm going to have to go get more of that, but we are still creating power. Alright guys, we got enough resources now to start getting our big reactor going. So I'm going to find the reactor casing, see how many of those we can make. We can make quite a few. I want to be careful not to use up all the materials because some of these extra big reactor parts are need some of those resources as well. So we are definitely going to need a reactor controller, which means we're going to need a diamond. We are going to need a reactor power tap, not 5 of them. We're also going to need a reactor access port, which means we're going to need a chest. And a piston, which we don't have enough planks for. So that'll get us one of those. Maybe all we need for now. We are going to want a reactor redstone port. So we'll grab one of those. And I'm just going to build it over here in the corner for now. It's not going to be there for very long. So the base is just going to be a 3x3, which we're already out of casings, so we're going to need some more. We are going to want the reactor power tap probably on the top. No, can't do it on the top. Probably on the bottom. So we'll do it right here. Do the access port on the left side. We'll do the controller right up front. Get some more of these casings down. We are going to need another part for the middle and the middle top. So that's going to require a yellorium fuel rod, which I already used up all my resources for, which means I'm going to need more steel. So I'm going to go back to my induction smelter. We're going to put another 16. That'll make us 8 more steel. So that's going to take a little bit. We're going to need a yellorium fuel rod and a reactor control rod. Now that's going to require more casings. The fuel rod does not require casings, it just requires more steel. In the meantime, let's see how we're doing on power. We're good on power. I am going to upgrade. I did upgrade this to an iron chest so I had somewhere to store all that wood. Oh, I am going to need an upgrade for my cobblestone barrel because it is maxed out, 64 stacks of cobblestone in there. So the way you do that is you create upgrades. In order to do that, you're going to need to make fences, which are crafted like this. We're actually going to need 2 sets of fences, which means I'm going to need more planks. Now, for some reason you do have to, there must be, yeah, the Gani's surface mod actually changes fences, but you're going to need the vanilla ones in order to craft this recipe, so we're going to just stick them in the crafting grid and it'll turn them into Minecraft vanilla fences. Once you have that, you're going to need some more planks. Stick the planks in the corners and the fences around the outside. Nope, it's the other way around. And that will get you a structural upgrade. This is just the first tier, so it's a wooden upgrade. And that will upgrade your barrel to the next structural tier. Once that's done, you can see it says you have upgrade slots 1 out of 1. Once that's done, you're actually going to need the upgrade, because there's several different kinds of upgrades for this mod. And they are right here. There's a regular storage upgrade that's made with 2 pistons and a barrel, and that will just double the size of the barrel. There's a B space upgrade. I believe it makes it so that it acts as an ender barrel, kind of, so that they can connect to each other. There's a redstone upgrade that makes it emit a redstone signal, one that allows it to automatically output from the bottom, like the way the hopper does. There's a void upgrade that destroys everything in the barrel over its maximum capacity if items keep coming in. And then there's a creative upgrade. So we are going to make a storage upgrade, which means we're going to need 2 pistons, which means we're going to need more planks. And then we're going to need another barrel. I already have some slabs made in here, so I'll just grab one of those. We're going to need another chest. That'll make us another barrel. Take the barrel, put it between 2 pistons, and that will make us a storage upgrade. Take that over to your barrel, shift right click, and this barrel can now hold 128 stacks. And that's just the first level. It goes up exponentially from there. So these can hold an absolute amazing amount of items. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all our cobblestone, double click it in there, and then we'll just left click once to get 1 stack out. Let's see how our steel's doing. We now have 8 more refined iron, which means we can go back to our big reactor recipes. We need 1 yellorium fuel rod, 1 set of reactor casings, which I am out of refined iron for again, which means we're going to make 8 more of that. Which means we're going to need 16 more coal dust. While that's going on, I'm going to take this and stick it right in the middle of the reactor, because that's where the fuel is stored as the reactor is running. We're going to take our redstone port and we're going to put it on this side. We're going to put a reactor casing here, one here. We are going to need our control rod there, and then 1 more reactor casing, of course. I can also show you guys now how you can take bread and resmelt it to make toast. Bread does 2.5 little hunger chunks. Toast does 3.5, so it's slightly better. So now we can make more reactor casings, and then we can make our reactor control rod, and that will go right in the middle here. And then if we can get a little bit more refined iron, like that, we will make another set of casings just because we need that last one to finish it off. And when I put it down, it will form into a big reactor. Now, big reactors run on yellorium. And I shouldn't need any more yellorium than this. But I'll throw this yellorium inside. Go inside here, I click the activate reactor, and it will start to create power. Now this 3x3 reactor will create about 260 RF per tick. Now that will decrease as the fuel levels reduce, including as waste is produced. This will produce waste in the form of cyanite bars, and as the cyanite bars increase, it will put them inside the reactor, and it will take up space for fuel. Now that will take away from space that the fuel is stored, which will make the reactor produce less power. But as soon as it creates enough millibuckets of cyanite to create 1 ingot, it will spit that ingot out, and then the fuel will drop straight in from this reactor port, and it will go back up to full power. Now these reactors have a lot of numbers involved in them. They're not really as complicated as they look, but you can learn all kinds of things about these reactors. There's all kinds of different setups. You can make them bigger than this. You can make them much bigger than this. I believe the maximum size is 64 by 64. Could be wrong on that. Probably wrong on that. The point is they get much bigger, and you can set up the interior of this reactor in several different ways, and we will get to that later in the series. For right now, it's too small to do anything else with. It's basically just a way for me to create a bunch of power, because these two dynamos are only creating 160 together. This one is creating 260 by itself. I like to go with a 7x7 reactor as my mid-game power production, but that won't be for a little while yet. So what I'm going to need to do is get that power into this capacitor bank. And the way I'm going to do that is with more of those energy conduits, which I don't believe I have very many of left. If any, I may have used them all. Nope, we do have 8 more in here. And basically I'm just going to dig under here because we put the power tap underneath. I'm going to close this up so we don't get any surprise guests. So that's our power tap. That's what allows the power to come out. I'm going to close this off so we don't get any spider spawns. That is going to come straight in here. We are going to need a few more of those. So we're going to grab some more gold. I did have a bunch of gold on me. Some redstone, and we're going to need some glowstone. And we're going to create our alloy. Oh, got to change it into alloy only mode. 3 of those. We don't want gold dust, we want glowstone dust, and 3 gold. We're going to need more of our conduit bindings. 6 of them. Do we have any left? Yeah, we have a bunch left. You can see these are smelting much faster now that we have this double layer capacitor. We're waiting on 1 more. That will allow our reactor to dump all its power into these capacitor banks. Now, this reactor can hold a lot of power internally, but it will not shut off if it has nowhere to put its power. It will continue to consume fuel. As you can see, we're already down to 257 RF per tick already because we have some space being taken up by cyanite. Now there is ways to automate this so that it shuts off when our capacitor bank is full, and I will do that, probably not this episode because we're running a little short on time, but that is our big reactor build. And that should keep us good on power for a while. We're not really going to need these magmatic dynamos anymore. There's a little bit of lava left in them, so I'm going to let them run for a little bit, but we have a lot of Elorium, so we're not going to need those anymore. So now that we have a big reactor, I think next episode what we're going to do is we're going to make a quarry. I believe I still have 12 diamonds, which should be exactly the amount that I need to make a quarry. Yes, we do still have 12 diamonds. So we're going to get ready to do that next episode. In order to really get the most out of a quarry, you really need some way of teleporting items long distances or moving items long distances. And the easiest way to do that is tesseracts. Tesseracts require a lot of ender pearls, so I'm going to, between this episode and next, get a bunch more lapis and use that to increase the looting level of my sword so that we can start to hunt endermen and get ender pearls to create that. We're also going to need some blaze rods to make a ender chest, because it's the easiest way to transport items back to the base, and we're also going to need a lot more storage space because this is just not going to cut it for what a quarry is going to give us. So I'm probably going to dive into storage drawers mod as well to hold a lot of our items, just until we can get into applied energistics, and even then we'll probably continue to use them with storage buses so we don't have to use up all the space in our drives for items like cobblestone and dirt and things like that. So I think I'm going to call it there for this episode, guys. We got our big reactor done. We got the layout of our base secured. We got a lot done today. So I guess we will see you next time. As always, don't forget to leave me a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time.